Hello everyone, and welcome back to Old Charles. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of coins from the Philippines. Our focus is on a coin that many of you might still have in your collection, the Philippines 1 peso coin from 1993. We'll talk about its history, design, value, and how its condition can greatly affect its worth today. So, if you're a coin enthusiast or just curious about the story behind this peso, stick around till the end. The 1 peso coin from 1993 is part of the Flora and Fauna series, which was introduced by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas in 1983 and continued into the early 1990s. This series replaced the old Ong Bagong Lipunan series and introduced a more modern look to Philippine coins. On the obverse side of the 1993 1 peso, you'll see the profile of Jose Rizal, the Philippine national hero whose writings and sacrifices inspired the revolution against Spanish rule. His face is one of the most recognized symbols of Filipino identity. On the reverse side, the coin shows the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas logo, which during this time had a simpler design compared to the modern versions we see today. This design was used until 1994, when the BSP rebranded its seal. The 1993 1 peso is also significant because it came out during the last years of the Flora and Fauna series, right before the BSP introduced the improved Flora and Fauna series in 1995, which changed some coin designs and made them smaller and lighter. Now, let's talk about the value of this coin in circulated condition, meaning the coin has been used in everyday transactions. The 1993 1 peso is usually worth Cuban peso 5 to 15 Cuban pesos in the collector's market. That's a small premium over its face value, but still attractive for everyday collectors. In uncirculated or mint condition, where the coin has no scratches, no wear, and looks almost brand new, the value can rise significantly, anywhere between Cuban peso 30 to 60 Cuban pesos, depending on the buyer and demand. For proof or specially preserved versions, the coin could be worth even more if it's part of a complete Flora and Fauna set. Some collectors pay Cuban peso 100 pesos or more for perfect condition examples. When it comes to coins, condition is king. The 1993 1 peso is no exception. Let's break it down: heavy scratches, faded details, and overall dullness. Collectors may still take interest, but only at the lower end of the value range. Details are visible, Jose Rizal's features are recognizable, but the coin clearly shows circulation wear. This is where most 1993 pesos fall today. Minimal scratches, clear lettering, and strong design features. These coins fetch higher value. No visible wear, sharp edges, and bright surfaces. Collectors highly prize these. Because millions of these coins were minted in the early 1990s, the coin is not considered rare. However, well-preserved coins are getting harder to find, since most have been heavily used in circulation. Many collectors keep the 1993 1 peso not just for its small market value but for its historical significance. It marks the last years before the Philippines redesigned its coins, and it carries the image of Jose Rizal, reminding us of national pride and the struggles for independence. For Filipinos, this coin often brings nostalgia, as it was commonly used during the 1990s. Holding one today feels like holding a piece of history from that era. So there you have it, the story and value of the Philippines 1 peso coin from 1993. While it may not make you rich, it's definitely a coin worth keeping in your collection, especially if you can find one in mint condition. We're going to explore the story of the Philippines 1 peso coin from 1993. We'll talk about its history, its place in Philippine coinage, its collector's value today, and how its condition can affect its price. This is more than just money, it's a piece of history you can hold in your hand. The 1 peso coin of 1993 belongs to the Flora and Fauna series, a coinage program that began in 1983 under the Central Bank of the Philippines, or Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, BSP. Before this, Filipinos were using the Ong Bagong Lipunan, ABL, series, introduced during the administration of President Ferdinand Marcos in the mid-1970s. That series carried heavy political messaging, with coins that symbolized the New Society or Bagong Lipunan movement. But by the 1980s, the Philippines had undergone major political and economic changes. After the People Power Revolution in 1986, which restored democracy under President Corazon Aquino, there was also a push to modernize and redesign the nation's coinage to reflect a more neutral, nationalistic identity. Moving away from political propaganda, that's when the Flora and Fauna series became the centerpiece of Philippine coins. It was named so because, in addition to national heroes, it featured elements of the country's rich biodiversity. For example, the 50 centavo coin featured a fish, while other denominations carried plants and animals native to the Philippines. The 1 peso coin in this series highlighted the face of José Rizal, the country's national hero, who symbolizes the Filipinos' fight for independence from Spanish colonization. Rizal's presence on the coin was both historical and patriotic, reminding every Filipino of his sacrifice and intellectual contributions to national freedom. His inclusion also connected everyday money to national pride, making every transaction a subtle tribute to history. The reverse of the coin displayed the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas seal. This seal was important because it represented the authority of the Philippine Central Bank over currency issuance. The version seen on the 1993 peso was part of the old design that dated back to the early 1980s. This would later be replaced in 1993, when Republic Act No. 7653 established a new Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas to replace the old central bank. The new institution would later introduce an updated seal in 1994, so the 1993 1 peso coin represents a transitional moment in Philippine currency history. It was among the last issues of the old flora and fauna design before the central bank reforms of the mid-1990s changed not only the country's monetary policy but also its currency designs. To put things in perspective, in the early 1990s, the Philippine economy was stabilizing after years of political turmoil and high inflation. Everyday Filipinos were using this coin daily, in jeepney fares, in wet markets, in sari-sari stores. 1 peso at that time had much greater purchasing power compared to today. For instance, in 1993, you could still buy basic snacks, bus rides, or small household items with a single peso. By 1995, the BSP began phasing out the older flora and fauna coins and replacing them with the improved flora and fauna series, which made coins smaller, lighter, and easier to carry. That's why the 1993 issue holds historical importance. It was among the last large-type peso coins before the transition to newer designs. For collectors, this makes the 1993 1 peso more than just a coin. It is a symbol of a changing Philippines, politically, economically, and culturally, during the early 1990s. It connects us to the flora and fauna era of Philippine coinage, represents José Rizal's enduring legacy, and reminds us of the economic and political shifts of the 1990s. It's also nostalgic. Many Filipinos remember using it every day during childhood or teenage years. So that's the complete story of the Philippines 1 peso coin from 1993, its history, value, and condition guide. It may not be the rarest coin in the world, but its story makes it truly valuable for collectors and Filipinos alike. We're exploring the story of the Philippines 1 peso coin from 1993. This is one of the most memorable coins of the 1990s, a piece of history that many Filipinos still remember using in their everyday lives. We'll cover three main things: the history of the coin, its collector's value today, and most importantly, a deep dive into the condition grading system, which determines how much your coin is really worth. So, let's get started. The 1993 1 peso coin belongs to the Flora and Fauna series, first released in 1983. This series replaced the politically charged Ong Bagong Lipunan series of the Marcos era and instead celebrated Philippine heroes, plants, and animals. The obverse features José Rizal, the national hero of the Philippines. He represents education, nationalism, and the struggle for independence. The reverse carries the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas seal, which symbolizes the authority of the Philippine Central Bank. This coin is historically significant for several reasons. It was minted during the final years of the Flora and Fauna series, right before the redesign of Philippine coins in 1995. It circulated heavily during the presidency of Fidel V. Ramos, a period when the Philippines was focusing on rebuilding democracy and economic growth. Its design connects two eras: the older, larger coinage style of the 1980s and the more compact, modern coins of the mid-1990s. And everyday life, this coin had real buying power. Back in 1993, a single peso could still buy candies, jeepney fares, or small snacks. For many Filipinos today, holding a 1993 peso brings a rush of nostalgia from the childhood days of the 1990s. By 1995, the BSP introduced the improved Flora and Fauna series, making coins smaller and lighter. That makes the 1993 peso one of the last large-type peso coins before the change. Now, let's talk about the most important factor in coin collecting: condition. The condition, or grade, of a coin is what truly determines its collector value. A worn coin might only be worth a few pesos, while a mint condition coin could be worth several times more. Rizal's facial details, nose, eyes, and hair, are clear. Reverse seal shows sharp edges, though flattened in spots. Popular among casual collectors who want affordable but presentable coins. Light wear only on the highest points. Risol's face and lettering are crisp. Surfaces may show some scratches from circulation. These coins begin to attract serious collectors. Very slight wear, almost mint. All details are sharp, with only small signs of use on Risol's cheek or coin edges. These are much harder to find, since most 1993 pesos were heavily circulated. No signs of wear at all. Coin retains its full shine and luster from the mint. Jose Risol's portrait is sharp and clear, lettering is bold, and reverse seal has complete detail. These are the most valuable and collectible examples, especially if kept in protective cases since 1993.1. Handling coins touched by bare hands can develop oils, stains, or scratches. Point 2. Storage coins stored in humid environments may show tarnish or corrosion. Point 3. Cleaning coins with chemicals or abrasives actually lowers value. Collectors prefer natural wear. Point 4. Rarity and condition while millions of 1993 pesos were minted, very few survive today in mint or uncirculated condition because they were used daily. The 1993 peso is not rare by itself, but condition changes everything. A heavily used coin may be worth only Cuban peso 5 pesos, while a crisp uncirculated one could sell for Cuban peso 60 to 100 Cuban pesos or more. Collectors often prefer coins that show the sharpest details of Jose Risol's portrait and a clean BSP seal on the reverse. If your coin still has its silver-gray luster, no scratches, and sharp edges, then you may be holding one of the finest surviving examples of this coin. It's a nostalgic piece of 1990s Philippines. It represents Jose Rizal, and it belongs to the transitional period before coins were redesigned. For many collectors, the challenge is not finding a 1993 peso, but finding one in great condition. And that's the complete story of the Philippines' 1 peso coin from 1993. From its long history to its detailed condition guide. Oh, you have one of these coins in your collection? And if you do, what condition is it in? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to Old Charles for more amazing coin stories from around the world.